Hello, everybody. Today, I want to talk to you about some metaphysical principles that have been used very extensively in these times by people who are buying homes or selling homes or who just want to have more harmonious energies in their houses. The first one that I want to talk to you about is the science of feng shui. Now, feng shui is, as you all know, is a system that has been practiced very widely in the Far East, and it has been there for hundreds and hundreds of years. I remember in the early 90s, the idea of feng shui swept the Western world, and feng shui now has many schools of thoughts, but the one that got very popular here in the West was the Bagua system. And by that I mean that a Bagua, which is an octagon, would be placed on every residence, and each point of that octagon had an element related to it. Now, say for example, the entry was water, or the other end was fire, or there was the element of money, or partnership, or children, or creativity, or knowledge, or self-help. So all these corners had the energies placed in there, and it wouldn't really matter what direction the house faced, but the bug was placed, and that was it. And say for example, and someone said that they had a problem with money, so the bug would pretty much from the front door go straight out to the far left of that house and say, okay, if the money point is weak, this is what you need to do. Or say for example, if a business was struggling with employees, or such situations, they would go on to the entry in the right part of the space and say, okay, well, you need to put more light here, or things like that. So that is just for an example. And then the center, the Tai Chi, what they call it, was always very important, and they would always prefer light fixtures or crystals and things like that, saying that that was the most important part of the space, which is of course very true. But then there was one thought in this system, and that is, it wouldn't really consider the compass. It would just about place a Bagua on any existing space, and that would be it. Also, very popular were other systems that were more compass based, and but those were used quite as well. Then the other one that I want to talk to you about is the system of Vastu. Now, Vastu is pretty East Indian, we all know that, and it's been there for a long time. But in recent times, it's kind of gained a lot of popularity here in the West as well. And now, the system of Vastu is pretty much based on the same thought that those five elements, which is the element of water, or it is fire, or it is air, or it is the earth, or it's the space, is what the sky is what they call it. It has to be balanced, and the thought being the same is just like a human body breathes, and when it breathes, and the body gets the oxygen and kind of is happy and comfortable, and so the same thought being applied there is that when all the elements are balanced, the energy that flows to the entry of the house is harmonious. It brings in all good things of life and success and money and all that stuff. But if something is off, then these elements could be adjusted. Is what this system does. So it's quite popular, and it loves the direction, the north or the northeast, because those are considered very auspicious directions for spirituality and also for gaining wealth. Okay. Then the third system that I practice a lot, is the system of numerology. As a real estate broker here in the state of California, I've had been the opportunity to sell and of course buy many homes for my clients over the years, and I've used the system of numerology just by looking at the address of the house and my client's date of birth to see whether that energy was good or bad for them, or and then maybe make a decision. And then I use this technique of number patching. Say for example, if the occupants of the house were having some issues, then we would of course look at the numerology of the house, and each number representing a planet, and then based on the occupant's date of birth, if they needed any adjustment, a small sticker in the form of a number, which is kind of smaller than the existing numbers, which I call number patching, has been extensively used here in the United States to patch the energy, to shift the energy, and to make the flow through the entry door smoother and better. Now, I would like to give you one example of this one property I remember some years ago here in the city of Fremont, and I've also mentioned this number. It was a lot of Mars energy in that property, and it was up in the hills in a city called Fremont here in Northern California. And this property was listed for over a couple of $1 million. And I remember on an open house, I had gone to check this property out, and well, I knew the numerology was not the best though, but the space inside was adjusted by the best feng shui practitioners. I remember a koi pond inside that had koi fish imported from Japan for huge amounts of money. I mean, I wouldn't like to say that, but huge amounts of money. Of course, with the same thought, because the occupants were business people, and they wanted the best for their businesses. And interestingly, what happened in that development, the first house that went back to the bank was this house. And I've often wondered till this day, right, if all those koi fish and all the other balancing energy elements and everything else really couldn't do much to save that house. And then I always attributed that loss to the numerology of the house. And so that is how strongly I feel about numbers and home numbers. So the point of doing this video is to just inform the audience that you have many choices. There's a lot of research that you can do these days, and the thought being that before you decide to buy a home, or you want to sell a home, or you just want to adjust the energies of your house where you feel aren't flowing really well with you, I'd say just use some due diligence, do some research before you make an informed decision. Thank you for watching. Until we meet again.